You, on the other hand, are just like, it's done. It's out of my life. It's gone.
But there's a reason.
Don't cut me off like that.
No.
But if you had Alex, I'm done with you. Never going to see you again. Welcome back to another episode of Past Your Prime. Also, Happy New Year. It's 2026. Anyway, this is the podcast for active adults trying to stay strong, healthy, and not blow themselves up or blow their back out every January. I'm Alex Kiker, pro volleyball player, working dad, and a guy who has personally set, abandoned, and emotionally recovered from at least 47 New Year's resolutions. It's my nickname, AK-47, so thanks for throwing the 47 in there.
I actually am pretty confident you stole that as a nickname from a Russian basketball player who played for Utah.
I'm older than him. Anyway.
He's actually not in the league anymore, is he?
No.
Yeah, he's definitely
long retired.
Yeah.
As I should be.
Well, we're not going to agree to that. However, I would say that means the nickname is available. So AK-47 is now your nickname.
Yes, permanently. Nobody else can have it.
I like it.
Trademarked. That was Craig Smith, physical therapist, strength coach, life professional, and a man who somehow doesn't eat donuts even when they're right in front of him.
And even though they're my favorite food.
Specifically Krispy Kreme.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me you will never eat a single Krispy Kreme ever again?
No.
Bringing them next week.
What? That's evil.
Today we're going to talk about goals, more specifically with it being New Year's resolution. I know we touched on that a little bit last episode, but we've got a hot take on it today, maybe even a spicy take, that they're not actually goals, but most people, when they're setting their New Year's resolutions, are a little bit more of just short-term challenges, and they don't stack their habits and they end up just failing,
which is sad.
Right.
It seems that most individuals, when they pick a challenge that they don't learn from and then completely fail and then judge themselves negatively for.
We hadn't even talked about the topic for this one yet, and I was over the weekend thinking about like habit stacking, like what habits I want to add in for this new year, which I guess still is kind of like New Year's goals. Like, why did I choose to do this on January 1st rather than any time during the year? But
can you explain what habit stack is? Because I mean, we know what that means, but do you know how would you describe a habit stack?
So just choosing to do something and just kind of layering it in. I don't know that I have a good explanation of it because it seems very logical to me when I say stacking habits, but it's just taking something potentially new. So one of mine is intermittent fasting. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I wasn't doing the past couple of years, and I'm going to add that in to the habits that I already have currently.
Yeah, you have something that is already there and you put it right on top of it.
Right.
So you're not having to fully rebuild an entirely new system around it. You are taking advantage of what's already there, which is, to me, a very sophisticated way of bringing in a new change. Even if it's a small change, you're taking advantage of a lifetime of skills and things that you've developed.
Right.
Which is very different.
So I think before we jump into kind of our little normal structure, I guess what challenges are we implementing? Is that the right question to ask now, since it's not New Year's resolutions by our definition is not an actual goal.
My idea is not to do a challenge unless it's purposely a challenge, and they are definitionally different, which we'll get to into a moment. My goals to start this year, Sarah and I, we have a process. Sarah's my wife. We are business partners, and we take the idea of goals pretty seriously. It's been something that I think has helped us be successful across multiple areas. But what I always look for with the goals, it's something that I want to achieve. So it could be anything from like what we did with the podcast, being able to get better at public speaking. It could be a whole variety of different things. And then what I like to do is build a process around it, like a process goal or something where I'm committed to on a weekly basis This year, my big stretch goal is I want to complete a book. So I have a book that I've been working on for a while.
It's out in the wild.
It's out in the wild. I want people, it's one of those things where it's, I want to do it.
This is what Craig was supposed to complete as his extra checkbox on the 75 hard challenge. He did.
I got a good part of it done.
Right.
Especially a lot of the research portions of it that I wanted to have implemented inside the book and the frameworks and everything. It's going to bring together a lot of the ideas that I feel like I've had for years, but I want to have it done. So I want to complete that this year. And so what I'm committing to is an hour a day for the entire year. I'm going to be specifically writing on the book.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's your only goal. That's your only challenge for this year.
That's my main one. It's actually much more difficult for me. The biggest issue is if I spend that hour every day, that it crowds out other things like we were talking about with opportunity costs. It's going to limit some of the other activities I can participate in. So I'm keeping it fairly simple, but that's, 365 hours that I'll be committing to.
You're doing it an hour a day?
An hour a day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to be limiting? Fun things or not fun things? So work or not? Who's the real question?
Yeah. That would probably be my second goal is I want to have better boundaries around work this year. I have not really had a boundary around work for 20 years.
Same.
It's time. Yeah, it's time to be a little bit more, less one-dimensional.
Yeah. Around to be a business owner.
In some ways, yeah.
Slightly less of a business practitioner, maybe.
Yeah. What's your goal?
I mean, I feel like all my goals are always athletic-based, which maybe I should need to have some better goals. But I want to touch 11 feet again. I've touched 11 feet. I think it's probably been since either my early 30s or late 20s. And I think that's like a hard stretch, but also an achievable goal.
What's your current?
Probably somewhere around 10.6. So that'd be six inches of vertical gain this year.
Okay.
Ideally, I'd like to try and get that by like the summertime. And I think I could probably squeeze out an inch a month for the next 6 months.
Ooh, we're going to have to break that down. That's going to be fun. Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a couple of episodes. But yeah, I want to do a vertical jump episode at some point.
Is your body feeling good?
I'm mostly feeling good. Little elbow flare up because I've played a lot of volleyball in the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
But I think that's also a good thing. Like I haven't been able to play like consecutive days and 3 or 4 times in a week in a while either. So
you're set up well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're set up well to actually be able to get some performance gains this year instead of just feeling terrible.
Right. Well, and then I've got a ton of mini goals athletically as well. And one of those just to keep my body healthy, which I think latter half of 2025 was well on that path. And so just kind of continuing to monitor how my body feels and make sure that I'm just having good responses to everything that I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see. I've got other, I guess, more ideological goals like you have, but I don't want to talk about inside this podcast. So
there's less. So there's other things we don't want to discuss. Got it. That's fair.
Okay. So back just to New Year's resolutions. Like, why January? Everybody, this apparently in your clinic, we were talking before this, and you're hearing a lot of people that okay, January's here. Mm-hmm. Time to set some new goals.
It's the time marker.
Right.
I believe we talked about this last year. There's a book written by Daniel Pink, and now I'm blanking on the name of it, where he talks about how time, there's things around time. Like if you're going to start a New Year's resolution, obviously New Year is going to be the key component of it, right? Most changes happen at the beginning of a week. Most changes will happen at the beginning of a month, beginning of a quarter, beginning of a year. Those times make it easier to commit and conceptually start towards a goal, do something like a resolution. People have pain points that they've been struggling with for a long period of time, and the time lines up well with people wanting to make changes. So I think we hear about it a lot because of the nature of the work that we do. People are coming in and they have pain that they've shoved through maybe this last quarter because of all the other deadlines and work and all of those things that end up happening. And because of it, they are often not even they're below where they even normally are. Those things adds up, and it leads somebody to say, I'm not happy with where I currently am.
Hold them up to their baseline.
And then beyond, right? Yeah, our specialty is more around somebody coming in and not functioning well. So they're already hurting. There's all these other limitations that are probably driving it. So we try to look for getting them at least back to where they were. And then obviously once people have success, they get addicted to the success feeling.
Yeah.
Want to do more.
Yeah, because lifelong activity is always the goal here. And I think that this ties back into one of our earlier episodes about identity, meaning. I think you've got a little framework that you put around ideas, goal setting, whatever you want to call it.
Well, we talked about it before, the identity, meaning, direction, and system. I think that individuals benefit from using that framework if you align all of those together and understand the current system that you're operating on. I think you'll be a lot more successful. And I think the thing that sparked our conversation was aspects of your decisions that had changed because of your identity. And I think you were putting it more as, I'm not even sure, I can't quite remember, but I remember it being one of them being your wanting to be a great father.
Yeah.
Like that's going to change certain actions. As soon as you became a dad, there's certain things that no longer are going to be even hard for you to do because it aligns with the identity of who you have to be a great dad.
Yeah.
That's where the donut thing comes from, because I don't eat gluten. So I'm not going to have a terrible body response for 1 second of eating something, even if I really enjoy it. I don't want to feel terrible. So
and it is 1 second. Like a Krispy Kreme, a fresh Krispy Kreme can be gone in 1 second.
They are, I mean, every aspect of eating those donuts is addictive.
I remember the first time I was in New York. They didn't have them out here yet. Me and my dad got, I think, 2 dozen, and they were gone in like 4 minutes. It was just like, gone. I was like, these are so good.
Yeah. Like, I don't I feel great. You felt great.
Oh, just a sugar.
So it was a pure sugar rush. You didn't crash?
I probably did.
Yeah. You don't remember that part.
It's cold outside. Nobody's going outside. So
everyone's unhappy.
Yeah.
They have one bright spot, and it's Krispy Kreme donuts. It's good to know. Yeah, we don't live in New York.
Yeah. It's so cold there right now. Very happy that it was only like 50 degrees when I went outside this morning.
It's beautiful here right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we're in Tucson.
Tucson, Arizona.
Great place to move to.
Anyway, back to identity, meaning, direction. Like one of my other goals is just to like be a better volleyball player this year. Like it's potentially my last year playing with my team. And so my training has just been a little bit more specific just for volleyball. I think we were talking about this. So like, I feel like I'm a little bit weaker volleyball player than I was before breaking my wrist. And a lot of that is just like tentativeness. I've been so tentative in my serving and my attacking where like, I don't know, most high-level volleyball players, like attacking is not a problem. And for me, it's like I notice like my teammates don't want to set me anymore because they're like, oh, old has a mortgage dad Alex is going to get blocked in the face. And I was like, no, like I know I'm better than that, but like mentally, like I need to work on my mental toughness and like go all out.
Interesting.
Like I'm going all out in my training, but like when I go out and play, like I'm not playing all out. So, but to that point, like back to the identity, meaning, direction, I'm like training in my backyard now. And so going back to like this weird opportunity cost thing, like, man, I feel bad like leaving my family to go play volleyball and you know, go to out of town trips. But at the same time, like me training in my backyard, I was out there yesterday just like jumping around with the kiddos, and I've got a volleyball net in my backyard where I can practice my spiking so that I don't spike like a softie anymore.
Come on.
I got to beat myself down before I can build myself up.
Negative self-talk works for you.
Yeah, I know it certainly does. Okay. But then like my 14-month-old was like out back trying to jump. I was like, that's so cool. Like she can't get off the ground, but like I was like, jump. And she's like trying to jump because she sees me jumping.
Really?
So it's like, it's this like weird intertwined where like my athletic training on one end makes me feel bad about leaving my family and doing the things to try and compete at a high level. But on the other end, I can still see that it's like weird inspiration, motivation for my kiddos to like.
There's a synergy there though.
Yeah. So it kind of all ties together. It's like, it's worth it. It's not worth it. I don't know, somewhere in the middle, but.
Well, it sounds like it's worth it.
Right. At the end of the day, yeah. I mean, I love the sport and I love my kids and I love seeing them want to try and mimic me or whatever you want to call it.
There is something there that I think about a lot. Many people, when we discuss some of the goals, sometimes people want to move towards things where there's like no stress, where it's just easy, like life is easy. I don't think that's the purpose of these things. I also don't think that's the purpose of being
life in general.
The purpose to me is to do something that changes the world in a positive way, to be impactful, to make it the world a better place because you existed. And if you don't push yourself, I don't understand the idea of being so comfortable that you don't experience growth, right? It doesn't make sense to me. When I have somebody come in and they talk about it as if the goal is, passive income. I don't even understand what that means. Like, there's nothing about that that's interesting in my book. I'm way more interested in things that are going to stress test me, make me a better person, better character, be able to handle more and more things and do it really well. So it's not about it being easy. So what you just said, that makes it more, that type of thing makes more alignment in my head, where you're bringing together every aspect of it. Then it becomes like you can enter into like a flow state. You enjoy your days more. The relationships you have are stronger. Those things I think are very powerful. I don't think it's about being easy. Like that, I think that is a total trap to think that easiness is the purpose of your life. That's not purpose.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wish money would just fall into my lap. That might make life more easy, but no.
But would it change some of the things that you want? I think there's aspects of where you have enough money that makes total sense, and you want to get to a certain point where you have enough money. But if you are just focused on money, not developing skills, not being more useful,
yeah,
I think that it really limits.
Just if I had unlimited money, I could just train full time.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, you could train full time.
If all of my money was passive, then I wouldn't have to work and I could just train full time.
Do you think, I find often if I don't have a full day, if I just have a fully open day, it's the least, I could have an unbelievable amount of things I want to get done, and I will fit those in, especially I'll form places for them in a busy day. Whereas if I have a complete open day, if I have no form to it, I don't get anything done.
Audrey and I just kind of force ourselves to go to the gym in the morning. Okay. And I think that helps for just way more productive days after that. Like, and I say morning, it's usually like 9:00 when the little kids daycare center at the gym opens. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. That just like, if that happens, productive day. If that doesn't happen, 50-50. Don't know if it's going to be.
It's a force function.
Yeah.
Those are huge. Yeah.
Okay. So back to resolutions. Your take is that they are challenges. I know we've referenced this a few times already in the episode, but give me your thoughts on why is it a challenge? I know I talked about habit stacking. There's probably a bunch of different directions to go here, but give me your take.
To be just really clear, I think we should define challenge. To me, a challenge is meant to be very hard, meant to be borderline break your system, expose flaws that you have so then you can learn from it. So challenge is not something that you're going to do long term.
Short term, then.
It's going to be a short term thing. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to put pressure on whatever system you are currently employing. So if you're somebody who has not exercised in the last 2 years, you buy a membership and you decide you're going to go every single day forever. There's this interesting idea around it that now you're going to be committed. That's not what happens. People quit. So if instead what you're looking to do is to build frameworks, to build ruts in the road that you can follow again in the future, that's great for a challenge, but it should be limited. And you're using the challenge basically to fill in where you don't really believe you have that as your identity. Like, that's not your identity. It's not an exerciser. If you've been off for 2 years, you're not an exerciser. And so if you're using the challenge, it's like to get those aspects. That's very different than a goal. A goal is for somebody who, I have this system. I want to align the system that I'm currently doing towards this thing, this specific thing. This is the direction I'm going. For you, for example, I think that's a great goal. I want to get to 11 feet. Now I have this big achievement goal that I want to achieve. let me come back down here and make sure that my system is well operating to basically come here. So I can keep on doing these measurements of where am I at on the journey into 11 feet. And you may find in 1 month, I'm an inch. I've only gained half an inch, or I'm starting to go down. Okay, let me tweak the system.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back to this again. But you know that your issue is not going to be showing up in the gym. That's a very different issue, right?
But I got to do the right things there.
But you still got to do the right things, and that's where you can tweak the system. Individuals who set up resolutions that are challenges, you're setting yourself up for 100% failure because you're not going to commit to it forever, which means at some point there's going to be an end point. That's just a mistake. That's a mistake if you don't recognize it as a challenge and that it's like short term, you're setting yourself up for failure. And what I get concerned with is when people set themselves up for failure, not as a learning experience, they never go back to it, or they abandon the idea. They then change. It reinforces this identity of being a non-exerciser, for example. That's not the way to approach it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going more towards like optimization of what I'm already doing. And that kind of ties into the habit stacking, like intermittent fasting, something I used to do. I was pretty successful with it. Like I'm going to bring that back randomly to start this year. We'll see. Maybe it sticks, maybe it doesn't. I want to see if I get a benefit from it or not. I was looking at things like my supplements, the timing of my supplements. Like I feel like my timing was actually a little bit off in terms of what would make the supplements that I'm taking work best. Did some research and found that like, okay, if I'm going to be intermittent fasting, I should probably take my supplements when I first start to eat. So like I'm going to add that in this year. So like there's just, yeah, it's more of like stacking habits or optimization for me rather than like really setting. I like obviously I have an athletic goal, but
when do your measurements come in?
For what?
Because you're building back a feedback system, which is like, I mean, that is literally what we want to have happen. You're getting feedback on the actions that you're taking. Do you have a set time that you're building measurements into your routine?
I do everything in like month blocks.
Okay.
Like anytime I'm trying something new, I always try it for at least a month. So whether it's a new workout or a new supplement or...
How do you assess it though? How do you assess if it's being effective for you?
I guess just general feeling. Like some of those things, like, I don't know, I take like a random joint supplement and after the first month I was like, you know, doing the old man, like I'm bending my neck, my knees, and
I feel better.
I generally feel like, like a little bit more mobile.
I can move my arms in funky ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Not in funky ways, in normal ways.
Yeah. My elbow's not popping and now giving me.
And then like, same thing. Like I'll start a new like periodization block in my workouts and like I always try and reassess after a month. Usually my main test is like just dunking. Like, can I dunk any easier? Can I dunk quicker? Like, generally speaking, it takes me about 40 minutes to do a full warm up to where I can get to dunk, which is crazy because like my first jump, I'll barely be able to touch the rim. And then, 30 minutes later, I can get 6 to 8 inches above the rim, which is just crazy to me. But I'm getting old. It used to just be I walk in the gym and I could have my book bag on and go dunk with 2 hands, but not.
That's not the case anymore.
Not anymore.
You should try to have a dunk with the book bag on. That was like one of my claim to fames coming out of high school. Is like I could have 3 or 4 books in my backpack and just go up there and just mash it like in a pair of Vans. That is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now I gotta wear like a knee sleeve and an elbow sleeve.
Everybody, this guy's broken.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that is important is if it's a system that you're trying to tweak, you have to have some level of feedback.
Yeah.
That's one that for you, because you're always in the kind of in it and you're thinking about it and you're often doing it, those being clear for you, I think would be super helpful. Yeah. For me, for example, one of the measurements I know I'm doing is word count's like a really simple one. It's a really simple one for writing. But I find it's not always helpful because of how much I might spend 2 to 3 weeks from just reading and writing my thoughts from the stuff that I'm reading on to think about more. It. Exactly. I don't want to put processes in and measurements that actually are going to pull me away from my end goal. I think that's really, really useful. But to get back to the main thing, if you don't know that a challenge is the resolution that you picked, if it's a challenge, just remember the whole purpose of a challenge is it's either you're successful and it ends, or you're going to fail. That's the purpose of the challenge. It's the purpose is not to make a lifelong change, in my opinion.
And I feel like I've got kind of a little bit of both there. Like obviously like kind of long-term end goal athletic performance things, but then, you know, some of these, I guess, new habits or challenges, whatever you want to call them, like they might be temporary. I think it just depends on the outcome. Like if I have a successful positive response, I'll stick with them, right? But if I'm not having a positive response or not making performance gains where I want to, I'll cut them off. And
You switch.
yeah,
And you mix
go
it up.
back or try something new. I know that you've obviously done 75 hard, one of the most famous challenges out there. Why do you think that challenges work so well, at least temporarily?
They're really useful, in my opinion, because you can use the identity. What I think happens is you use this almost borrowed identity of what somebody who does a 75 hard and say that's their normal life. I will never do 75 hard as a normal routine for my life, but I can use the challenge criteria to help me make decisions in the moment. And it makes it so you're really consistent. You're doing the exact same thing over and over again. You have very clear direction every single day. And then I can choose a challenge because it supports the meaning that I want for my life, but it's not actually who I am. Like I'm not a person who lives the 75 hard activities on a daily basis. That's just not it. And when I chose it, one of the most attractive aspects of it was I was using alcohol as a way to disconnect from work. Not excessively, but I was definitely using it as a
Tweaker Craig over here.
I know, you just see me just hammering it back.
You're just hanging out with the neighborhood friends at the bus stop over there.
Yeah. Yikes. No, not that crazy, but it was very useful because since then my alcohol consumption is, just dramatically less because it pointed out that the way I was using it as a tool was not actually necessary. It was a story I was telling myself. And so my identity changed. I'm not somebody who needs that as a way to disconnect from work. And I developed other ways to do it. It gave me other skills to then use it. I've gone back to drinking, but it's, a percent of what it was before. It dramatically.
You're going to have about 99% of your yearly value this upcoming week.
And my birthday's coming up. I'm
Happy
turning,
birthday.
Thank you.
I don't know why I did this.
The 40.
40. Wow. OLD.
OLD. Osteoligament disc disease. That's definitely coming my route every single time. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun to turn 40, but it's made me think even more about what I want this next decade to look like. I'm very happy with how my 30s went. I'm proud of a lot of the things I was able to accomplish, but I really want to achieve quite a few things in this next decade. I'm very excited for the next decade.
New decade resolution.
You got it. Yeah.
Give me an example. I think we might lead into your gluten and donuts here, but give me an identity example.
Where identity links up. So if you can take advantage of an identity change, the one that I always think back is when I figured out that I have an intolerance, if not a straight up allergy to gluten. I have a large respiratory reaction when I eat gluten and also a large, horrible GI response to gluten. And I did not realize some of the experiences I was having was abnormal because I did not talk about that stuff to anybody, right? That is, I would go to work and I would just not eat lunch during the day because I didn't want to have a weird body response when I was at work. And I actually got used to, for a long time, not eating at work because of that very reason, right?
Yeah.
But once I figured it out, I love donuts. Donuts are awesome, and they have not figured out a gluten-free donut that tastes anything like a Krispy Kreme, and I don't think they will.
You can just eat the frosting. We're just in it for the frosting.
You saying to lick the donuts?
That's where you went with it. So
that's right. You said it. That's so weird, dude. I just go, can you imagine? I show up there, I'll take one donut, and then I just proceed to lick all of the stuff off of their donuts. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, she just eats the frosting off the top. She gets the pink sprinkle off the top, and just the top is gone, and then there's just like a raw donut left.
I've seen your daughter do some funny things with food. That's awesome. I do feel that if I went to Krispy Kreme today and did that, they would kick me out.
But I think getting a dozen and doing that, way more acceptable.
It's not, no.
And just licking inside of the box.
No. That's so gross. I'm not doing that. The purpose.
But I might try that now.
I'm afraid that, but I also might do that. The aspect of donuts, though, it's no longer appealing to me. That I'm somebody who doesn't eat gluten. It's 100% an aspect of who I am. There's no time where I look, if something comes out and I know it has gluten on it, where my brain goes, that looks so good, I'm going to eat it. It's not even a question. And that to me is, once you align identity to your system, and it's very much in alignment, it's not hard. There's no motivation that's needed. It's just, it's a very black and white experience.
Yeah.
And I would say there's things around being a dad for you that I guarantee are like that. Right.
Yeah. I admire you for your ability to just like turning it off, whether it's permanently or not permanently. Like I know I can do it not permanently very easily. Like I have that in me where, like, if I made the decision, like, I'm not going to drink alcohol, I'm not going to drink alcohol. Like it's fine. Like I can just do it, but it's never like, forever. Like that one occasion will come up where, like, okay, I'm having a Krispy Kreme. All right. Like it's fine. I'll have it. You, on the other hand, are just like, it's done. It's out of my life. It's gone.
But there's a reason.
Don't cut me off like that.
No. But if you had
Alex, I'm done with you. Never going to see you again.
I had a chip that's just completely broken in my brain, and I can do that. No, the idea is I can't do that with everything. It's the things that I've made an identity link up with.
Right.
For example, I would say there's all sorts of things that you have an identity around that have changed how you look at the world. It changes the frame of how you look at things. For example, I'm definitely an exerciser. I'm not going to go a week without exercising. Even if I'm hurting, I'm going to do something that's physically active because my identity as an exerciser. I'm a reader. I'm always going to read. I'm a thinker. Like I'm going to write on my ideas. Like there's these things that are very much who I want to be and how I view myself, that make certain actions unbelievably easy because they're not even things I have to choose to do. They are going to happen because of who I am. When you have those, you can lean into those things. And if you don't have those things, if it's where you want to be, then you have to use the system. To me, you have to use your system to flow it all the way back up to identity. Because if you do something long enough, you become that person. So it's either a fake it till you make it or do it over and over again till you are that person. But if it's awesome if you can start from, this is just who I am, and it flows down. Obviously that makes certain things way easier.
I think for me, it was from having Nike posters in my bedroom that just say,
that's dunking.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. What did you say?
I was saying, is that why you start dunking?
Oh, no. No, I just like to dunk.
You have the calf structure.
Calf structures are still, my calf has been feeling pretty good recently too. That one's surprising me.
What?
I have been having some Achilles pain in the other one, but I think that's just because my new workout program has like extremely heavy calf raises.
I'll be honest.
I did a 500-pound calf raise last week.
And I was like
stupid, amazed with myself. I was like, how can I do this? The bubble weight was just crushing me.
I love it. Did you get off of the machine and go to the mirror and just look at it?
No, I was wearing stretchy pants, so not as good of a flex when I have my stretchy pants on. But
you can't see that. You can't see your calves through your stretchy pants.
Oh no, they look huge, but just you can't really get that definition in there through the stretchy pants.
Are you shaving and putting like
cocoa butter? I know you're big on cocoa butter. So.
Well, it gives a glisten.
Yeah, I really like to use the sparkly one. So I have like glitter. I'm a little bit glittery when I go to the gym. So if you see me just shimmering in the gym, anyway. Okay, practical examples with regards to goal setting. Are there practical examples that you can think of?
Yeah. And when we say practical, I guess the big thing that I always think of, if you're the first one, practical, is it a goal or are you doing a challenge? Being really clear on what, there's a strong difference between the two. Don't mistake one for the other.
And I keep going back to the habit stacking, but I feel like that's like a third intermediary. Like maybe it starts off as a challenge, but like say you like drinking a gallon of water every day and going to the toilet multiple times per day, then like you can keep that habit and it's no longer a challenge. It's no longer a goal because you've done it.
It's a skill.
It's just a skill or a habit. Yeah.
It's a skill that now folds into your system.
Right.
I think that goals should really focus on improving the system that you're operating within. I always look for developing skills. and understanding that everything that you want to do is a skill that you have to develop. I was given a talk. I did this talk where we were trying to help executives, different businesses start to exercise regularly. And we went through what's the issue with being able to stay physically active, ranging from you can't prevent injury, in my opinion, based off of how you're going to do activity. At some point, you're going to have something happen. We are built to conserve calories. We're not built to be as active as possible. So most people are more predisposed to being physically inactive, amongst other reasons. And we started to take everybody through the room, and we were breaking down, okay, what is the activity that you actually want to commit to? So we would put it up on the board, and it was fascinating how many of the people would have these negative interpretations of themselves. They would already start with, I'm just not this person. I'm just not able to commit to being physically active. But then we started to break down. We could find out there were certain specific skills that they were missing. So for example, one of the people, the person that they wanted to do the exercise with would never exercise. So they had linked their physical activity to somebody else's. And you had to break that, right? So the skill there was negotiating a conversation with somebody who's not staying committed and being able to comfortably do it on your own. That's a very big difference, right? And oftentimes people have a missing skill or tree of skills that doesn't allow them to actually do what they want to do, and get really clear on what the activity is and what's the actual skills that are involved in doing it. So for example, like yours, being able to hit 11 feet, that is a terrible goal for 99% of the world, right? That's a terrible, terrible goal. And so people will put that up there. So it's just oftentimes it'll be a failure. But if you're somebody who's completely not exercising and your goal is to dunk, it's a fascinating goal. That'd be a horrible goal.
That's going to be a tough one to do in a year, depending on your height and previous athletic abilities.
So many things, right? But like if we were going to break it down, okay, so we're going to work on your ability to perform a plyometric, your ability to forcefully produce hip extension, all these things that basically link to your ability to jump higher and higher. Okay, we can totally start to break those down. But then even if we come underneath it, how do you show up to do your exercise, right? Do you know how to tie your shoes correctly so that you don't get blisters, kind of going like a John Wooden type thing, right? Do you know how to do a squat, which is going to be a huge exercise for you to be able to promote your strength? Do you know how to do a trap bar deadlift, which will really help with your forceful hip extension? All of those things are they're all skills, and most individuals don't break down the skills that are required for every aspect of the goal.
Yeah, getting down to the nitty gritty.
You got to get down to it. And I really like learning and process goals. So the other big thing is, if you have this big goal, this big overarching thing that you want to hit, what's the daily activities? What are the daily actions that have to happen for you to actually be able to hit it? So take that big goal, but break it down to what's the daily action.
Like what is the process to meet that goal?
And be really clear.
Yeah.
And then my brain always goes to what's the opportunity cost as well, which we talked about before. What things do you have to give up?
But what else can you gain?
What can
like
you gain?
A 14-month-old trying to jump.
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a beautiful consequence of you playing volleyball.
Playing sports.
Yeah. The one I always think of with opportunity costs is there are goals where it's to eliminate something. So for example, people who are addicted to their phone, you could cut the phone out. That's a very difficult thing to do, because then you have to navigate all these different relationships, not being able to get onto your phone to relieve boredom. There's all these other things that you basically have to master to do that. But then the opportunity cost of not doing that is that you're always on your phone. You're never going to achieve anything.
Or you can get off your phone and go to the gym.
As much as you can.
Right.
But I think me and you went through, these are some of the discussions that we've talked about. So yeah, what skills do you need to learn? The other big one is, what's the smallest habit that you can adopt to move you forward?
That's where intermittent fasting came from. Because like I said, I had a bunch of success with that previously. I recently was just listening to some other podcasts and stuff, and it came up a couple of times as the different potential benefits of it. And I was like, I used to do that. Why can't I do that again and potentially reap the benefits?
But you develop that skill. So, because I would actually say that's not an easy one to start with. That wouldn't be the smallest one. The smallest one.
See, and for me, that's funny that I take that as a small one, because
you have skill.
Yeah, I already have the skill.
To me, the thing with it would be this borrows from BJ Fogg, who wrote the book Tiny Habits, and he always kind of looks at it from the lens of the smallest action. So for example, if you were going to start to do a workout, his idea would not be to actually go start to do a workout. It would be, if you're going to do it in the morning, it'd be laying your clothes out the night before. You put your clothes on. That's it. That would
then don't go to the gym.
You could go to the gym, but even what's crazy is the more things that you do, the bigger action that you take, the more motivation that's required if you haven't developed those skills, right? If your ability hasn't gotten to a really high level, and if your motivation starts to wane, your ability to actually accomplish the action drops. So the smallest habit that you can take, those are things for longevity, and that would be month one. I want to get into a habit of showing up at a gym for 15 minutes. That would be a really nice goal versus a challenge, which would be I'm going to work out 7 times a week.
Yeah.
Those are two large differences. You're not going to do the challenge one, but you can definitely get the skill where now it's easy.
The skill of showing up.
The skill of showing up, which we've talked about so much, but that's such a huge piece. I think the other big ones are really getting clear on the barriers. What things are going to stop you from going. I think it's really useful to know what things are going to cause you to quit. We know around exercise, I'll repeat it again. If you have an accountability issue, if you have a hard time showing up, that's a reason that you'll quit. You're 33 times more likely to quit.
33 times, not 33%.
33 times more likely to quit. That's from our own internal data, which we haven't updated, but we're going to be doing another update on that to see what we see. Your comfort level with the activity. Do you need coaching? Do you know how to do it? Do you need somebody else to facilitate it? Do you have something that's going to hurt you, like a rehab? We call it the rehab standard, but if you have pain or a fatigue issue with it, and then finally like physical or time barriers that are going to limit you from being able to go there. Those are the ones that we find around exercise, but there's barriers around anything. If you're going to do something new, do you feel uncomfortable going into a new place? That's a huge barrier where some of the place like Planet Fitness or Choose Fitness, they do a great job, I think, of create an open environment where people aren't feeling judged. That'd be a great choice versus, one of these like a performance boutique gym where you go in and the focus is going to be on doing lifts that you've never done before. That may help you to direct which choice you want to make,
Yeah. Consult a professional.
But then at the end of the day, it's what does your success look like? Because that's the success that you want. If it's really clear on what you want, I think it's a great goal.
I want to get back into sand volleyball this year, hopefully, probably after my indoor season. That's one that I just have had some reservations about, mostly because of my calf. My calf cramps every time I go out there and play sand. And the last time I played, I really sucked because I haven't jumped in the sand in 6 or 7 years. And then the other one I keep thinking of is like joining a basketball league, like an old man basketball league.
Okay.
I'm not super confident because my wrist, like I can shoot by myself, but I feel like with somebody in front of me, I'd just be hitting the scoreboard, not the backboard. Anyway, I don't know. It's just weird things that I might try in 2026. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I have not really played basketball a lot since.
You used to be able to hoop a little bit.
I can still hoop.
We'll see about that.
We'll see.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a one-on-one. So record 2026.
Record it. It'll probably feel way more athletic in our minds that we watch it. We're not sharing this. Horrible.
Spin move. Before, starting on your New Year's resolution, challenge, goal, habit stacking, you had put together kind of a little list of questions that you should potentially ask yourself before committing. Do you want to highlight any of those?
I think we hit most of them, and we'll include this list in our show notes. But like I said, know if it's a challenge or a goal. Really understand what skills you need to develop. Understand the barriers. Understand what's going to make you quit, and then really understand what success looks like. If you write those answers down, I think it dramatically increases your ability to carry it out, and to not view failure as actual failure. It's not an end. It's just a stress to your system that you can come back from. Yeah,
I think we talked about it last year, but don't most people quit by the end of January, their New Year's resolution?
Because it's a challenge. Yeah, they did a challenge. The reason most people quit, and it's an insane number. It's like in the 80%, I think.
Yeah, I just remember it being ridiculously high and very, very short-lived.
Yeah, it's a challenge. That is the the perfect example of you just did a challenge. So if you've already started to think about this isn't sustainable for me, you're doing a challenge, continue to do it as long as you want to, but realize you're going through a learning process on your system and write down the things that you're learning.
Yeah.
Why are you deciding to quit? If you're deciding to quit because you don't have time, you can't negotiate it within your schedule, your partner's getting upset with how much time you're spending there, you don't know actually what exercises or movements to do, whatever the reason is, those are all super useful for your long-term success. So if you take those things that you just learned, you write them down, you go through them, you can actually pick apart which skill you need to develop next. And then you can align it to an actual useful goal with a very useful process.
Yeah. My advice would just be to start building skills, building habits, rather than, kind of going grandiose. I myself am able to throw in a bunch of things all at once and still have some success. But
those are also challenges though, right?
Yeah.
You're comfortable with being challenged and being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Once again, I think that's a skill.
Yeah. And most people are not.
Yeah, most people are. And that over time though, you get better at it. You get more comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Love being uncomfortable and also making other people uncomfortable. Very good skill that I have.
It's a superpower.
Okay. If this episode hit a little too close to home, that's probably because January Craig is still living rent-free in your head. I don't pay rent to you, do I?
No,
not anymore. I did in 2025. If you enjoyed this, share it with someone who's currently on day 4 of a brand new identity that they certainly will not maintain. They've probably already quit their New Year's resolution. Don't do that. Stick with it forever.
I like the finger. You did the Harrison Ford there.
Yeah.
Get off my plane.
That's a mustache finger.
That's a mustache.
Past Your Prime podcast. Go to pastyourprime.com. Check us out on Instagram at Past Your Prime Podcast. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. We've got 3.5% of our listeners in Norway. Shout out to Norway.
Or the VPN somebody's using.
Yeah, or their Norway VPN. Anyway, we'll see you on the next episode. Enjoy your donuts, Craig.
I'm not eating a donut. PYB, baby.
Peace.